All right, after a very big day, Congressman James Comer, head of the Oversight Committee, joins us tonight. Sir, it's good to have you back on. I think Tony Bobulinski made it very clear in his opening statement, the first couple minutes. Joe Biden's involvement, his corruption is really undeniable from somebody under oath that worked with the family in China.
Yeah, Tony Bobulinski, Jason Galanis, Devin Archer, they've all testified under oath that Joe Biden was involved, that he was heavily involved, that he was an integral part of the business model, and the business model was influence peddling, selling access to Joe Biden to our adversaries around the world.
You know, House Democrats, they freaked out over this hearing, and I wanted to ask what you made of their behavior. We had Jared Moskowitz wearing a Putin mask right here, AOC claiming that it's only a crime if Tony Bobulinski personally witnessed Joe Biden perhaps stealing something. What did you make of how they handled today?
Well, Moskowitz is a clown. AOC clearly doesn't understand the law. She doesn't know what a RICO charge is. She doesn't know anything about the multitude of financial crimes the Biden family's committed. The fact that the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act says that a bribe constitutes a gift to a family member, AOC hasn't read any of that. No one's written that on a teleprompter for her. But the way they acted today, Rob, you know this better than anyone. They have some type of fetish with Rudy Giuliani or something. I mean, this whole hearing was about Rudy Giuliani. Rudy Giuliani didn't have anything to do with the money from China, with the money from Romania, or the money from Kazakhstan, or the money from Russia. But they tried to defer, they tried to disrupt, but at the end of the day, they never could answer what the Bidens did to receive the money, and they never denied that the family was influence peddling.
Yeah, I mean, they leaned a lot, of course, on Lev Parnas, which was, Jamie Raskin's invited guest. This is a guy who changed his tune dramatically after being indicted, and really only saves, if you were to believe him, he really only has any kind of wherewithal in regards to what we saw in Ukraine. And he doesn't have an excuse for why Hunter Biden and the Biden family got $1 million a year from Burisma.
He added nothing to the hearing. The hearing was about Joe Biden. It was about Joe Biden's involvement in his family's influence peddling schemes. Yeah. And all he wanted to talk about was Rudy Giuliani. They mentioned Russian hoax 100 times in that hearing. But the only two things that came out of this hearing pertaining to Russia that was factual was the fact that their witness, Les Parnas, took money from Russia, and that Hunter Biden took money from Russia after a dinner engagement with the Russian oligarch and Joe Biden.
Do you think the DOJ got to Lev Parnas? I mean, a lot of what we're seeing is, certainly from the Southern District of New York, it looks like there's some dirty games being played to try and cover up for this. Do you think they got to Lev Parnas and they got him to sing a song that they wanted to hear?
Well, something's going on with that guy. I mean, I feel like I need a bath with bleach after sitting in front of him for 6.5 hours. I mean, the guy, just the way he smirked and his nods, and he was whispering stuff, trying to taunt Bobulinski, who is, a very successful wrestler at Penn State. I mean, this whole thing is a sham that the Democrats are trying to do. The Biden family was influence peddling. Joe Biden was involved. 3 witnesses today confirmed that, and the Democrats didn't have an associate. The Democrats could have had someone that was in business with Hunter testify under oath in front of all the TV cameras to say, no, Joe wasn't involved, but they didn't. They wanted to play the Russia card. That's all they have. And Russia has absolutely nothing to do with the Bidens, other than the fact that Hunter Biden took $3.5 million from a Russian oligarch who didn't get sanctioned after Russia invaded Ukraine.
Right. And as far as the Southern District of New York goes, which appears, it looks like it did a lot of covering up. There's pretty clear evidence that if there's something that the Bidens are involved with, they might take one guy down, but they make sure that nobody in the Biden family gets touched. At what point do you guys begin investigating the Southern District of New York for the DOJ?
I've talked to Jim Jordan about that. Look, I would feel that I would have a better chance of getting a fair trial in a tribunal in Afghanistan in the Southern District of New York from what I've witnessed in this whole investigation. And remember, Dan Goldman worked at the Southern District of New York.
Yeah.
That's where Dan Goldman came from. His fingerprints are all over this, especially the Ukrainian cover-up. And, it just stinks to high heaven what's gone on at the Southern District of New York.
It certainly does. I want to ask you, Hunter Biden wasn't there. You had an empty chair today. You had an opportunity to subpoena him and get him there to have to sit next to Tony Bobulinski. Why didn't that happen?
I wanted the American people to see that he was not telling the truth when he said he wanted to come testify publicly. We have time to bring Hunter Biden back with a subpoena, but I felt like, the media attacked me, Rob, for not having a public hearing with Hunter Biden, for not providing a venue for a public hearing. Well, I wanted to do that because I knew he didn't want to come there because he can't validate what he said under oath. Tony Bobulinski accused Hunter Biden of perjury multiple times. I believe Tony Bobulinski. We invited at the end of the hearing today for Joe Biden to come because what we had today, we had 3 former Biden associates say Joe Biden was heavily involved and Hunter Biden said he wasn't. Now, we could cut Hunter Biden out and go straight to Joe Biden and try to wrap this thing up and then bring on the criminal referral, the criminal charges to try to get some accountability to the Biden family. So we're going to hear from another Biden. It's either going to be Hunter Biden or Joe Biden. I'll tell you that right now.
Inviting Joe, I suspect Joe's not going to show up, but you do have the intention of subpoenaing, of a subpoena for Hunter Biden and forcing him to come.
We're going to talk about that. Jim Jordan and I are going to meet tomorrow. I hate to speak unilaterally because the way Kevin McCarthy set the committee up, there are 3 committees, Ways and Means and Judiciary. We all have to sign off on that. We're going to talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah, I got to see Hunter squirm in there. I'd love to see him sitting next to Bobulinski when it happens. So, yeah, we appreciate it, Congressman.
That might can happen again. Bobulinski's offered to do that. Yes.
Yeah,
all right, thank you.
I know he has. Yeah, Congressman, good to see you. Thank you.